Zach's in. He says the biggest surprise will be the Oilers announcing a Klim Kostin contract. Oh man, as a Klim Shady supporter, I'm getting nervous about the way this is going. The more you kind of hear, the more it sounds like they're heading towards a split. Do you think the Oilers could get anything for his RFA rights?
No, I'd be surprised, because for a team now, they're like, Edmonton's not going to qualify him because they're worried about the arbitration.
Yeah.
So you got to qualify him by Friday. So you've gone this far, a team would be like, well, we'll just wait. And then we could just sign him as a free agent. Right. And not have to give up anything. And like Klim Kostin, it was a really good story in Edmonton last year, right? He scored on a lot of his shots. Now he still did score 3 goals in the playoffs.
Had a couple of big ones in Game 6 against the Kings.
So, the thing about Kostin that I like is like, he's a one-shot scorer. He can shoot from distance and he can beat guys. It's a hard skill to have. And he's physical and he's tough. Yeah. Right? Like Klim Kostin does not shy away. In today's NHL, he's a very unique player because there's just not many guys who can shoot. And he's not a top 6 forward, but here's the other side of the ledger though from Klim Kostin. You've never really established yourself as an NHLer. This is the first time, and it's 57 games. It's not 2 years, it's 57 games. Mm-hmm. And you got comfortable. You showed that you could play. Now, you didn't play huge minutes, right? There's some defensive issues at times, which is fine. He's still a young player, NHL-wise anyway. So, yeah, you're going to chase the money. And I guess he could go to the KHL. We've heard he's got some KHL. I always wonder if they say, well, he got the KHL offers. As a Russian player, I'm sure he'll have some, but is that really where he wants to be? I know he's really close to his sister. She lives in California. Yeah. Does he want to be all the way over in Russia? I guess, like, if we're talking someone's going to offer him equivalent of $2 million and you're only going to get $1.1 million, then I can understand it, right? Like, that's, hey, money talks when it's that big of a difference. But if he ends up going to Russia and it's only for like 1.5 or 1.4 and he could have got 1.3 in Edmonton, then I'm like, what are you doing? That's probably not the best decision. So I said at the end of the season, I thought there was a very good chance Klim Kostin wouldn't get qualified because teams have done it. They're fearful of what the arbitrator is going to rule like. And that doesn't mean that you can't re-sign him. And Klim Kostin, you know what? I think this is a little bit of negotiating going on here too. Ken Holland kind of hinted at that in his press conference, that this is, you know what, when you don't have the arbitration bullet, all of a sudden now that weakens your leverage from Klim Kostin's side. Now he is also a UFA, but on the UFA market, is Klim Kostin going to command big dollars? Like, and when I say big, for a bottom 6 forward, is he going to command 1.8, 1.9? Now it only takes one team. We saw Gabranson got 4 sheets last year. So, anything can happen, but I think Edmonton could really use Klim Kostin. Right? Like, I think they had so much size, Bukestad, Kostin, Fogel's big, McLeod's 6'2", he skates well. Like, they had a good mix down there. And if now you lose Kostin, because he brought something that none of the other bottom 6 guys brought, right? He brought an emotional edge, a little bit of I think a physicality and intimidation factor. Yep. And they don't have a lot of it. So, and there's not like there's guys on the market. Like I mentioned, Max Comtois, who I had as a guy I didn't think would get qualified because of $2.5 million. And I think that's an ideal reclamation project if I was the Edmonton Oilers. So if Klim Kostin leaves, I'd be saying, okay, Max Comtois, you want to come in here for 1.2 or 3? Because I'll tell you, if I'm Comtois, he's been in the NHL in Anaheim when they have been out of it before the season begins. Yeah. Right? He would probably love an opportunity to be on a competitive team.
Yeah, my concern with Comtois is how engaged can he stay? Like, it's tough to read. Is a guy like that on a bad team? So when there's those stretches where he's disinterested and you hear whatever happens or whatever's been going on in Anaheim, if you put him on a contender, does he snap out of that, right? Mm-hmm. Does he become a better teammate? Does he play a little bit harder? Does he stay engaged for 82 games? That would be the question with Comtois, 6'2", 210 pounds. He's a left shot. So
I mean, he basically just replaces Kostin, right?
Yeah, could replace Kostin.
And honestly, because remember, he got his contract after he scored 16 goals in the COVID shortened season of 2021 when they only played 56 games. He was very good. He had 16 goals in 55 games that year. Yep. He's only scored 50 in the last 2 seasons in the last 110 games. So he's a guy now where you can buy low on the potential that, now maybe people will say that that 21 season, that was the outlier.